Oh, why won't this thing work? Oh, hello there. Have you ever felt that way? Like you're just so ding dong darn frustrated that you want to pull your hair out and throw your quadcopter across the room that you were super excited about to start flying? Well, I've been there. I know. It hurts. I feel your pain. And that's why we're here today. Welcome back, everybody, to RC with Adam. Today is yet another 1 hour Q&A troubleshooting session so that we can work together to hopefully get rid of all your problems, solve all your problems, right? Wouldn't that be great? Well, I'm gonna do what I can, and we're live on YouTube and Instagram right now. What else to say about that? Yeah, so leave your questions, your comments, things to talk about. Leave them in the chat or the comments section or whichever one, and we will see if we can help you out with those. And a lot of times, my wonderful audience is also very helpful as well. So if you put it in the chat, maybe somebody else will be able to answer and give you some answers. Give you some answers. Yes, as well. I'm a little distracted because I'm getting set up the FPV flight simulator. FPV flight simulator. That's what we're doing today. That's what we're going to be doing in between questions because today is Friday Fly Day, of course. So that's what we're going to do. And let me see here. I'm going to share my screen in just a little bit. But first of all, welcome everybody. See, we have Animate Fun over on YouTube. We have Aleph. We have, I don't know, Uno FPV over on Instagram. Instagram's not the super hot place to be. We get a little bit of interaction there sometimes. I don't know. I think Instagram people are probably like more fast-paced. They're swiping and scrolling. YouTube, it's a little bit more focused, a little bit more for the adults. No, it's sort of, actually, that's demographically, that probably is the case that like now. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation about content creation and whatnot, the whole YouTube video side of things. But we're here today, we're talking about troubleshooting stuff, making stuff work that doesn't work, basically, with drones, 3D printing, RC aircraft. That's primarily what we're focusing on today, but I dabble, so we might be able to answer some other questions as well, but we'll just see what we get. And let me make sure, it looks like the audio should be working well, the videos should be working well. I just realized that, let's see, so let me share my screen with you today. Let's go to, so before we get started, we'll kind of do a recap here. Yeah, there we go. So, talking about FPV flight simulators. Absolutely. I just remembered that I don't have my blue lights on, which they have to be on, otherwise, like, I'm not a real YouTuber, right? Flight simulators, FPV flight simulators, absolutely 110,000% worth the money. Even a simple one, or even one that doesn't really cost money, and that would be, because that's the question, is what's the best free FPV flight simulator? The answer is FPV Skydive. In my experience, that has been the best one that I've found that is a free flight simulator. It has like purchasable add-ons, of course, but it's a good one for the money. However, Adam, what's your favorite FPV flight simulator? Right now, it is it's not Trip. Trip is another good one and has huge levels and stuff, but it's Uncrashed. Uncrashed just feels the best to me right now. I feel like the physics are, work the best, and it also seems to work well on my computer. I run a Mac. So that's my personal favorite. That's what we will be flying today. Last time, or another time, we did liftoff, and we did like a multiplayer live liftoff lobby. So that was cool. So I don't know if Flying Butter, I don't know if Flying Butter is going to be in here today. Flying Butter has been a regular from Lithuania, I want to say. And so he was in the lobby when we were doing the liftoff. So maybe we'll switch to that if he shows up. But otherwise, we're going to be doing Uncrashed. And Yeah, they're all good. Liftoff's good. Uncrash is good. Trip is good. FPV Freerider, I don't really recommend that one. You can still learn some of the basics, but the physics is not very good and all that stuff. If you want to do RC airplanes, I've been doing Aerofly RC10 instead of Real Flight, really just because I use a Mac and Real Flight is not available on a Mac. So that's weird, right? But there you go. So let me close that out. Close that out. Steam with all their ads. All right, so this should be the right size. Yes, so that's what we're gonna get going. Olive says, what's your full name? Oh wait, we have a question from Michael Hollingsworth. Olive, you don't go asking people on the internet what's your full name. That's not good internet etiquette. But my name is Adam Terry, and that's not a secret because my name is on a whole lot of stuff. And Michael says, hello, sir. Seeing you might get hammered with some snow, just wanted to I don't know what that, I can't read what that word says, but pop in and say hello. Hello, Michael. Yes, absolutely. We may get hammered with some snow. I believe it. I'm believing it today that we're going to get some snow. I think there's a very good chance that we're going to get some snow. That's what my weather app is telling me, and so far it has not told me wrong. And also, by the way, today we're going to be using the Radiomaster Pocket for the simulator flying. That's one of my favorite, or it currently is my favorite radio. There may be other good radios out there, but I've been using this one for, I think a couple years now, I think. And I enjoy it very much. All right. So again, in case you're just joining me, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are in the world. My name is Adam. This is RC with Adam. And today we're going to be doing some drone flying. But if you have questions, let me know. Let me know if you have questions. Oh, also, boom. Not that, but this, just to recap, yesterday we were talking about troubleshooting an issue of having low video signal on the DJI 04 air unit, the light version. And so maybe that person will pop back in and let us know how it turned out, because they were having the same problem on the same quad with two different air units, which would suggest there's something to do with the quad that they're connecting it to. Also, I didn't mention this at the time, but if you have like power wires like going right next to your antenna or around the camera wires or stuff like that, like that could affect your video output and whatnot because of electromagnetism and physics and crazy science stuff. So that's what we talked about yesterday, and we were just talking about, I don't know, different stuff. I always like to mention this, 3D printing. If you need help with 3D printing, go check out one of these troubleshooting guides. I really should have links to all this stuff. That would be a great idea. Links to frequently asked questions, like places like that. So visual troubleshooting guide, that's one of the best ways you can at least get pointed in the right direction about what's going on with your 3D printer and why is it not working. Also, we're looking at the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. It appears to be a great 3D printer for the price. I would definitely check it out. If you want a sort of simple, non-multi-filament type of 3D printer, the Elegoo Centauri Carbon looks pretty good. I haven't personally used it, but perhaps I will in the future. And then we talked about long-range drones. Actually, I got distracted and I was talking about the iFlight, these iFlight drones and stuff, and I was going on kind of a little tangent about how drone technology like hasn't really changed, or like the design and form factor very much, but and then I saw that they have the Defender series, which is kind of cool because it's very like streamlined. So it looks interesting. Anyway, I'm not going to do a total replay of yesterday. You can just go check that out. And that's the recap, I guess, for this time. Yeah, cool. So otherwise, we will be. Let me switch to here. Boop. There we go. Otherwise, we'll be doing this and just hanging out and talking about stuff. We got, what is it? Acid Fly Studios says hi all. Hello, welcome on the YouTube side. Michael says, and guys, again, like just in advance here, I just apologize. Like, work with me here because I know I'm gonna be stopping and then like answering questions, and I know that's gonna be annoying, but I don't know any better way of doing it than this. And your questions are the most important thing. That's number one, is answering your questions and solving problems. Michael says, I'm going to have to figure out how to set up an RC airplane on my Pocket, and I was wondering if you have set up a plane on your Pocket. If so, was it difficult? Currently using it with an OMP M1 Evo 3D helicopter. First of all, 3D helicopter, that's super cool. That's been on my bucket list of like things to get into with like helicopters, but way too expensive, and I crash way too much to be working with helicopters, I would say, personally. We got Surendar Chandru, welcome. And as far as setting up an airplane on the Pocket radio, no, I haven't done it. I need to. I should. Like, I both should and also will need to be setting that up. But right now I don't actually have any receivers that work with this, that I have this set up for. This is really just for flying drones, quads. So that's, and actually not even ELRS, it's just for TBS Crossfire. So that is something that I will definitely look into. So if once I figure it out, I'll let you know, or I'll hopefully post a video or something where you know, showing, or if I find a good video talking about it, I will share that as well. Good question. What's a good place to go to? Do we want to go like? Did we go to Horizon? I don't remember. I think we did. Well, I'm not. Yeah, let's go to Horizon. I don't know if we went to Horizon before. Because I want to see the cars. I like chasing the cars, you know. Let's go in the sunshine. Oh wait. I made a critical error. I just realized. So, yeah, darn it. All right, I have to quit this because if you don't have your transmitter plugged in before the thing actually turns on, then it won't work. So, and I forget that almost every single time. Uh-oh. And there we go. Okay, my mouse just froze for a second. Things are trying to work together and they're getting weird, man. Okay, so let me get this, and then let's go to the library, go to Uncrashed. Let's play Uncrashed. That should pop up. There we go. Okay. Okay. Nice. All right. All right. Surendar Chandru, I see what you're doing. I gave you my final answer on that, and so I don't appreciate you bringing that up in the chat. So please do not, because I do not want to have to ban anybody from the chat or anything like that, but I will, because that's you're bordering on harassment, okay, which is not cool. That's not something that is cool here at RC with Adam Industries. Let's get into Uncrashed. So, this should work this time. Horizon. Let's play it. So, FPV flight sims, man, I just tell you what, like, they're so worth the money. And they're so good. You know, they get better and better. As far as the volume, let me know if it's like too loud or something. But because I'm not sure how it's going to come through. I obviously don't want it to be really loud because we're just going to hear drone sounds. But it's also kind of more interesting if we hear, you know, something. So I got to figure out, how do I listen to it? Is it through here? Maybe through here. Let me see. All right. Oh, wait. Here, go there. There we go. All right. As usual, I'm a one-man studio, so doing what I can. got quite a little bit of fisheye going on here. This is a really cool place to fly. Is it just me? Like, are my eyeballs not working right, or is it like blurry? It's like extra pixelated. I might need to change the settings here. I might need to get new eyeballs or something. Feels different. I don't know why. Let's check the tilt. 25% tilt, or 25-degree tilt. Let's check out the graphics here. Preset medium. It's medium, yeah. Because usually I like to take the graphics like down quite a bit. Texture settings. Let's make the textures medium. Medium effects, detail mode, sharpen, view distance, high, motion blur, medium. That's probably going to make a difference as well. All right, let's try that. Let's try that. Now you'll notice we do not have the FPV feed simulation turned on as far as the video signal, which, you know, is much more fun if we're just doing this kind of exploratory flying around and we don't want to think about that. But in the real world, that's going to be a big, you know, factor. Now we're gonna go on the highway. Actually, can we? Or is it gonna... We can kind of go on the highway. Run out of road. No, the road keeps going. Never mind. Oh, yeah. I love flying super low. It's a lot of fun. So, like, that's something else that I feel like is a factor that I don't see addressed very much, like in the sense of the drone, when you're flying fast and you're flying low, well, when you're flying fast, you're angled forward, and so with a flat sort of drone, you know, typical drone frame, you're flying forward, and then if your front motor catches the ground at all, you're going to start flipping out over and tumbling, and it's going to be bad. So that's why I'm always interested in designs that have the tilt built in, so to speak, so that if you are, let's see, we're flying backwards, and so that when you're tilted forward, essentially the physical frame of the drone is like level with the ground. I've always been fascinated by that type of design. So essentially reverse tilt. I guess you'd be putting, you'd be putting reverse tilt into the frame of the drone, which is interesting. Oh, we got a question. Let's see. All right. Autopilot, you have the sticks. So, Olive says, sorry, Adam, I'm leaving because I have to study. Don't be sorry, Olive. Studying is important. So study well, my friend. Acid Fly Studio says, 3D printer question. I'm kind of new to 3D printing, and I've got filament from different... we're getting so close to the buildings. Oh, my gosh. Sorry. I have got filament from different manufacturers, and PLA and PETG, and TPU. Yes, TPU, when you're setting up new filament, what is your sequence? Also, continuing the question, I just need like a sequence, like step 1, like 1, step 2, step 3, sorry, oh my gosh. I'm not reading well today, apparently. I'm using Bamboo Studio. I have I have an A1 bed slinger, and I've probably watched 30 videos, and everybody's got all of these wild ideas. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pause this because I'm gonna get so distracted. So sorry about that. So the question is, you have different filament from different manufacturers, and when you're setting up a new filament, what is your sequence? Like step 1, step 2. So I'm not sure what exactly, like, what is the issue, Acid Fly Studios on YouTube? What is the issue? So it sounds like, because I'm not fully understanding your question in the sense of the sequence when you're setting those up. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. Are you talking about like custom profiles, like printing material profiles? If you are, I think I can actually help you out with that. Let me get Bamboo Studio opened, and then we'll jump over to that, because I get what you're saying, I think, and I've been frustrated with that kind of stuff as well. Let's do. All right. So, all right. Anybody watching on Instagram, this might not look great because some stuff is probably going to get cut off. This is more geared towards the YouTube side of things with a full view. So let's check it out. Free Sailing Boat, I see you on Instagram. Welcome. We're going to do some 3D printing stuff. Let's get to here. There we go. All right, Acid Fly Studios. Again, my apologies if I get to your question a few minutes late, because I'm flying, and then it's important to pay attention to what you're doing when you're flying, but it's hard to do two things at once. So if we're talking about custom filament profiles, basically how do you set up to use different materials in Bamboo Studio? So what I would do is go to, okay, that's going to get confusing. Sorry, let me minimize that and minimize that. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to make this so it's easier to see for everybody. That's good enough. All right, so in Bamboo Studio, where it says Project Filaments, so let's say you want to, let's see, you would go to, what would you go to? You'd go to, is this what it would be? Custom filaments. So you can select all these filaments by so you go to the Project Filaments menu on the left-hand side. Okay, but setting up flow rate first, layer adhesion, Z-hops, all this stuff. Oh, you're talking about like all this stuff. Like what sequence do I do? I don't usually have to mess with it that much. But it does depend on like the filament. So I do have some custom filament profiles that were brought in like for 3D Fuel. That's what I use pretty much exclusively. I did get those from 3D Fuel, but honestly, I don't think they're very different from the standard. But if you wanted to change that, you could go into, so the menu here, you click on the set filaments to use little icon. And then, so I guess you could select from all these different options and all these different vendors. They don't have like a ton of different vendors, but let's see, so they have that. So this is just what is in the menu. So that's how I did that. I created a custom one there. That's not actually what we're looking for. That'd be more for importing. So if you want to modify one, like let's go to the system preset. Let's go to our, what would it be? Generic. Let's say generic PLA. And then you want to modify it. You click on the edit preset. You'd edit the preset. And then this is how you adjust your filament temperatures and all that kind of stuff. And then, so as far as what you were talking about, like how to set up the flow rate first, or layer adhesion, Z hops. So it sounds like you're talking about like if you are needing to test out different settings as opposed to copying them over from a like a profile that somebody has set up. Because as far like if I had the information, if I was like, oh, I know I need to change the flow ratio, I would just go in here and change the flow ratio, and then I would like change the density, and I'd change, I'd change the price, I'd change the whatever anything I need to change, I'd just change it all at once, like that, and then I would save it for that profile, and I would name it to match the filament that I'm using. And then the nozzle temperature, that's a big one. This is something that I don't like about Bamboo Studio, and why I want to leave Bamboo Studio. Actually, I'm thinking about it, but basically it's annoying because in Cura you set your temperature for like the whole like project, or perhaps for the object. But in Bamboo Studio, the temperature stays with the print oh my gosh, the filament profile. The filament profile. It's so if I find that kind of annoying, because maybe you're using different types of filaments, but you want to like keep the, basically you just want to easily change the nozzle temperature, but you can't really like do that super easily. So that's annoying to me. Does that answer your question? I'm not quite sure if that does or not, but let me know. Let me know. Because, like, for the most part, you don't have to change a whole lot of stuff when you are swapping filament. Like, the biggest thing you're going to need to change will be temperature. And the next biggest thing, like if you're using TPU, would be probably like retraction settings, possibly Z-hop, but retraction as far as how much it sort of pulls the filament back when it's done printing a section and moves to the next section. Also printing speed, but you're not going to change printing speed in the profile. See, that's what I would really like to change, because you can change volumetric speed, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct about this, but you cannot change like normal printing speed, right? Deretraction speed? Deretraction speed? I didn't know that was a thing, to be honest. Retraction speed. So that's how you can change it in the settings overrides, stuff like that. But yeah, so what I was getting at here was that it would be great to keep the speed to match the speed with the filament profile sometimes, because if you're printing something where like maybe you're printing a model and you maybe you're doing some kind of multi material and you're printing PLA, and you can print way faster with PLA than TPU, and then you get to a part where you need to print TPU, you want to be able to change that possibly within the same model just based on what filament it's using, or not have to like change it around. So it's kind of, yeah. Acidfly Studios says, yes, I'm trying to get King Rune PETG basic. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, have you tried printing stuff? Because what I would do, or I mean, probably try printing. Have you tested out using those filaments already? Because I mean, I would say don't sweat it like trying to get the exact same print profile, like the same model, like so if you go in the drop down menu, you go down to add remove filaments. Where do you go? Add remove filaments. Oh, that brings you the same thing. Oh, okay. So don't freak out if like your vendor's not here and you don't see, the exact model or the exact right one. because you can make those custom profiles and you can adjust things, or you can import a profile from the manufacturer of the filament if that's possible, or just don't even worry about it and just use the next closest setting, or the next the closest print profile, and just give it a try. Just give it a try. But I can tell you the biggest differences are going to be temperature. Well, and like I said, speed, but speed is not a factor in the print profiles in the project filament profiles on Bamboo Studio. The speed is not tied in with the filament, which it should be. But those are going to be the two biggest things that you change: the temperature and the speed. And all that information should be on the spool of filament that you get. Okay, gotcha. You're trying to get the King Rune PETG basic dialed in. Cool. Okay. Well, let me know if you have any more questions with that. That's I can see how it's confusing, and there are some things I don't like about Bamboo Studio. But give that a try, and let me know how it goes, or let me know if you have any other questions. But otherwise, we'll get back to some flying. Over on Instagram. Hello, welcome on Instagram. We're live on YouTube and Instagram right now. And yeah, let's get back to that. All right. Pop that window there. There we go. Whoops. Uh-oh. I changed the size. Ooh, whoa. Realized it had to be like that. Okay. Good. Pretty good. Yeah, that'll do. All right, so we're just flying off into the desert here. Here we go. Look at that. There we go. Acid Fly Studios on YouTube. You are welcome. Happy to help. Isn't that a fun move? That's a fun move. You ever do that one where you just you what is that called? I don't remember what it's called. It's like the 360 look back or something. I don't remember what I called that, or what other people have called it, but actually it's not 360, sorry. It's 180. It's the 180 look back. And that's another interesting thing, about FPV drones is when you're in acro mode, your quad is tilted forward, and then you just yaw, and then whoa, it's super trippy, especially when you're the one flying, because then you're suddenly flying backwards, pointing up, but you're still going straight. It won't actually affect the quadcopter to be able to fly in a straight line. So that's pretty cool. Oh, hit the pole, and he's down. Oh, actually, I can still kind of fly. I'm not dead yet. It's only a flesh wound. Oh, apparently this is one durable quadcopter. Oh, quadcopter. Oh my gosh. Oh no. There we go. Building dive. The shakiness just adds to it. Which, by the way, just talking about building dives. So I've never actually dived a building. And I don't recommend that you do. Like, unless it's your building, or it's like an abandoned building or something. Especially now, in today's day and age and climate, that it's a terrible idea to have like a 5-inch drone and diving a building. If you dove a building with like a teeny tiny little, super duper tiny whoop, that'd be very different, because it's like it'd be totally silent. Nobody would even notice it. But It could also be a huge problem and reflect really badly on all of the rest of us drone pilots if that didn't go well. You know what I'm saying? So I do not really condone or endorse building dives. Besides, I'm not really a city guy. Mountains are more my thing. So if it was like a mountain dive, oh yeah, dive those mountains. But I'm sure it's a lot of fun. I'm sure building dives are a lot of fun and a lot of, oh no, I hit it. Ah! I'm sure it's quite an adrenaline rush as well. Huh, yeah. Hey, there's supposed to be cars in here. Where are the cars? Where are the cars at? Oh, there's a car. Oh, it's a controllable car. That's a normal car. Let's go to the car. Oh, but is it driving? It's not a drivable car. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, it's driving. It's driving. Get the car. Get the car. Skirt. Oh my gosh, I just hit that. Wow. Whoa. That's always the trickiest part, is speeding up and slowing down. Which, once again, telling you, 360 cameras, 360 drones, invisible drones, that is the future. So, actually, I need to like do something to make that a reality for myself. I have so many other things going on at the moment that... Oh, I hit the pole. And the car's gone. Car's gone. All right, let's do... the car came back. What's my up tilt? 26 degrees up tilt. It's still kind of a lot for what I was doing, trying to chase the car. Let's go to the controllable car, huh? What's up with this? So do we can just get in this car, right? Just gotta fly it through the door. It's an easy and whoop. Oh, whoa, whoa. That's pretty interesting. You know, that's something else that I have not done yet that I need to do as well, which is hook up some RC cars to my like the Radio Master Pocket transmitter. Okay, so we have like automatic braking here. So it's not just slowing down, it's braking. Interesting. Because I do seem to get that question quite a bit about with FlySky stuff, as far as using FlySky transmitters on to control like tanks and cars and stuff. Can we go out here? Oh, we're not gonna fit. Ugh, come on, buddy. You got this. You got this. Oh no, we're stuck. We're stuck. Just gotta wiggle the controls here. Minute jiggles. That is the solution to get out of any situation. But not this one. Okay, bummer. Wow, I really popped up super duper high there. Oh, right into the pole. Who put that pole there? And how is this 20 degrees of tilt? That doesn't seem like 20 degrees of tilt. That's weird. Oh, ow, wow. Just hit right into there. My goodness. Okay, I just hit it again. I'm going to get it this time. You just watch. Oh, they put me in a different spot. They're like, yeah, you're not doing too good right there, so we're going to put you somewhere else. Ooh, ow. That's always a fun one. One thing that I want to improve my skills at, like a trick that I always love. I love the way it looks, but I don't know that I'm super able to pull it off very well. I love the reverse trick, the stop and reverse. I I can't remember if there's another name for it, but that's basically what it is, where you like go up and then you're like, whoa, and then you somehow reverse the direction that you came. But that's kind of hard to do. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky trick. That's why it's called a trick. Let's restart there. My goodness. Oh, I knew I wasn't going to make that ledge there. My goodness. Hey, everybody, if you're just joining us, welcome back to RC with Adam. My name is Adam. We're doing a Q&A session time here. And I'm flying Uncrashed, the FPV simulator Uncrashed, in the meantime, in between questions here. But if you have questions, you need some troubleshooting help, you're getting into drones, 3D printing, stuff like that, RC aircraft, fly sky stuff, let me know. I am apparently the world's leading expert on fly sky stuff. Oh my gosh, I did it. I did it. That was a good one. That was a good reverse power loop. The whole thing about power loops and really everything, that wasn't good. Not good timing there. The whole thing about flying an FPV drone and doing these tricks and all this stuff is to have be able to have this like spatial awareness as I crash into it. Like this spatial map that you have built into your brain as far as like where your quadcopter is in relation to the things around it. And, you know, it's just one of those things, like if you do it a bunch, you get really good at it. And I'm really surprised that I made it through that gap, actually. that was pretty cool. But that's really kind of like the key. It's a really big part, you know, to be in the drone. You are the drone. The drone is you, and you are it. Oh, wow. I didn't take any damage through that. That's crazy. Hey! Throttle control is really just the key. Like everything, it revolves around the throttle, because that's what a quadcopter really is just a bunch of motors that you are just directing the throttle for, you know, speeding up and slowing down and adjusting the pitch angle and all that stuff. But it's all about the throttle, man. The throttle is your friend. Because, yeah, if you don't have throttle, you're not flying. Wow, what crazy buildings. Are these real buildings? Because that's pretty cool. Oh, light poles, man. Light poles always get you. Watch out for the light poles, folks. Light poles and cables. Basically, if dark colored objects are always what gonna get you. The hole. They call this the hole. Let's go to the hole and check it out. What's up with the hole? Okay. Wow, I'm standing in the hole. That's pretty crazy. All right. Whoa, that's so trippy, man. All right, then let's go do a. Oh, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was like, let's do a trippy spin around this building, sort of. The other big thing about flying an FPV drone is getting used to weird angles. Oh, you know what? I don't have enough up tilt to do that. Let's increase the up tilt using the up arrow to like 45 degrees. So I'm increasing the tilt of my camera on the drone, so I can go out here and be like, whoa, and then I can't. Whoa, actually, I'm losing altitude. I'm trying to think this through, so because that would be, yeah. Okay, wow, this is a big building. We're still going. All right, let's restart that. Restart. There we go. So we're like, Whoa. And then we start trippy spinning. Oh man, I hate that. That'd be a giant trippy spin. Let's go backwards. So we're gonna do backwards. We're gonna fall. Well, now we're, okay. So then we'll initiate the spin like this. So we're flying and we're spinning, and that building is getting really close. But, you know, getting used to flying at weird angles, kind of like having the mental map of like where your drone is in space and what it's doing. Oh shoot, that's a building. I gotta keep turning. So yeah, we are trippy spinning around this building. Not very cleanly though, and not very fast, but we are. Can we see the camera view? Third person. I don't know that that really helps very much to show what's going on around the building, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of a weird angle. Weird third person angle. Oh, whoa. Oh, a little late there. My judgment was a little off because of how this angle is. Yep, it keeps doing that. Whoa, that's really weird. Yeah, this is really weird flying from this angle. Boat. Let's go check out the boat. That was a close one. So if we're orbiting, you can kind of see it. If we're orbiting something, the drone is tilting. How do I even put that? You can see where my sticks are, though. You can see that it's weird because we have to initiate the right hand turn, but we're like compensating to the left. So we're yawing and rolling and pitching forward to maintain this kind of like this like cyclone around the object that we're trying to capture in our camera lens. Yeah, interesting stuff. Because if we start out, and a lot of this stuff, unfortunately, it's stuff that I forget about because it's once you learn it and it becomes muscle memory, you don't even realize what you're doing to make it happen. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna orbit the thing. You don't think, all right, left stick forward, push right, do this. Like, no, you just do it because it's hand-eye coordination. So if we're starting out, okay, let's change the camera to field FPV. FPV. So here we go. Just for funsies, let's see what is actually going on here. So we have a lot of up tilt, by the way. Probably too much. Let's come down a little bit, like 30. At least, yeah, 30 degrees. So we have this object we want to orbit. So if we start out kind of flat here, we're going to tilt. We're going to roll to the right to start that going in that direction. Then tilt forward. We're going to roll back to the left and yaw left to like even it out, and then we need to keep a pretty consistent amount of throttle, but the more we pitch forward, the more throttle we're going to need to give it, because otherwise we're going to start dropping, basically. So to do a really tight, fast orbit, we need to have a lot of throttle. And if we can only go so far, and then we're going to start going down, even with max throttle. And then at that point, if we have max throttle, we're just controlling we're controlling everything basically with the pitch and roll, and then adding a little bit of yaw to compensate. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Let's go land over there. And of course, you know, if we are trying to actually film something, like not just flying for the sake of flying, we might have like really low camera tilt. like 15 degrees of camera tilt. So that way we can fly very slowly, especially if it's a slow object, and we can come in for a landing much better. Whoa, oh, getting a little fast there. There we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on right there. There we go. Landed. Boom. And now it's freaking out because it apparently went under the seats and through the boat and into the water. So that was weird. All right, cool. All right. Not a big crowd today, Friday. Everybody must be working extra hard or something, but we're coming up right to our 1 hour mark. So I'm expecting we'll get somebody popping in here with a question, usually at the very last minute. But otherwise, if we don't have questions, we're probably going to wrap it up here in a little bit. Ah. It's also fun to do those. It's like a trippy spin. It's sort of like a vortex orbit on a horizontal object. Like, okay, yeah, just crash right into it. There you go. Like this crane, where you're spiraling around it. That's always fun. And you just, again, it's all about throttle, about increasing throttle, decreasing throttle. That's a really sloppy version I'm showing you right there, but that's really what it is. It's timing, getting their timing right of when to increase the throttle and decrease it, all that stuff. And then landing, this is a big thing. I don't know that, like, I don't think people talk about this much. I need to make a video about this if I haven't already. But just landing, being able to land on stuff, fly really slowly. It seems easy, but it can be very difficult. And the other thing is, like, again, having that understanding of your drone in space. And so, like, if I'm coming in to land on a small, like, area and I need to be precise, I'm going to be looking, like, at the bottom of the screen and then kind of imagining where I'm going to land and just keep a flight path more like you're landing an airplane. If you've ever landed an airplane, well, especially from a first-person view perspective, where you're basically you're setting up your glide slope to land where you want to land, and then you're just holding that all the way through into landing. Instead of the thinking of, like, oh, I'm a helicopter, so I go up and down vertically, and that's how I have to land. Because even helicopters, depending on, where they're landing, they'll set up a landing glide slope just like an airplane, and that's the best way to do it. But you have to have lower camera up tilt. If you have 45 degree excuse me, if you have like 45 degree up tilt, it's going to be really hard to see where you're landing. You can still do it, but you're going to have barely anything visible. So if I'm trying to land on this guy, like, it's really hard. Like, yeah, you pretty much have to land blind. It's possible, but it's not ideal. That's something else that, like, why isn't that more common now? Why isn't that, like, a thing that we just have on all drones? As far as the ability to change the camera up tilt on demand. Why isn't that a thing? Like adjustable up tilt, like from the drone. I know it's a thing on some stuff. Right here. I know it's a thing on certain drones. DJI drones, obviously, like the Avata. You can change I don't actually know how because I don't have an Avata, but you can adjust the camera, or you can do head tracking. Head tracking is really where it's at. That really would be the case. So it'd be like FPV drone camera, adjustable tilt. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Mastering camera tilt. Okay, yeah, not a whole lot going on there. There, what was that company? There was one that came out with that. FPV drone camera, automatic adjustable tilt. It was a little kit or a little thing that you can put a thing. It was like an add-on thing that you could install on a drone. It was essentially a pan tilt servo, but it was like kind of a whole system, and that made a lot of sense. So you'd think by now there'd be like something like that, especially something really small that you could just attach the FPV camera onto. FPV drone, maybe it'd be like pan tilt automatic. Automatic? I don't know. Try that. That might have been it. RC Thompson Electric. Let me see here. See what we're looking for. I know people have been doing that in RC airplanes. I've done it myself, but as far as the doing it in an FPV drone, I can't remember the name of the company. What's the name of it? It's not a big deal. I'm just curious about it. It's not. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Let's take a. I like it's kind of an interesting design here with the servos and gears and stuff. So this is from Motion Sick. I don't know if that's a great name. They're showing this one here. So obviously really large for an FPV drone. This one is made for an RC airplane. That is their whole thing, which that would be really cool. That really would that would be super fun. You could put this on an FPV drone, of course, but not, definitely if weight is an issue, absolutely not. So that's just kind of an interesting thing, though. Head tracker, yeah. I think head tracking is, that seems like it's going to be the way to do that. But it is, you have to have goggles, so it's more in-depth. So it wouldn't work for everything. But again, that's why I think the 360 camera idea makes a whole lot of sense, because essentially it's like you have the camera operator in post-production, which would be, I think, make a lot of sense. All right, that's going to do it, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. Happy Friday. We got a big storm coming, it looks like, if you're in the southeastern United States. So stay warm out there, okay? Be prepared, be a good neighbor. Don't go driving on ice, guys. Come on. It's a good time to maybe stay inside and do 3D printing unless the power runs out. So maybe you should 3D print stuff now before the power runs out, or the power goes down because of ice and stuff like that. I don't know. But anyway, use good judgment and stuff. Looks like I'm frozen over on Instagram. Don't know why. That's weird. But that seems like that happened last time as well. Super weird. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll be back. We'll be back next week, Monday. Unless something comes up, we are here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 11:11 a.m. Eastern Time. So come with your questions, concerns, comments, and a fantastic attitude. And I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.